Steve Kilbey, pop singer, opinionated, arty, lefty. I'm a vegetarian, I'm anti-war, peace-loving, just got an opinion on everything. One of those, I smoke dope, I love music and art, arty, lefty. I'm a vegetarian and all that stuff. So if you want to stick around and hear what I have to say on all of these subjects, I'm going to try and give you Steve Kilbey's vegetarian rant in as compact a form as possible. First of all, I don't believe that humans are designed for eating meat. Our teeth are not meat eaters' teeth. Our guts are not meat eaters' guts. We have long, complicated stomachs with weak digestive juice. If you eat a piece of meat, it will sit in your stomach for 3 or 4 days. You go, oh yeah, okay. Except your stomach is not a freezer. While it's sitting in your stomach, you put a piece of meat on the counter and cut another piece off and eat it, and that bit on the counter going rotten is exactly what that bit in your stomach is doing. It's going rotten as it goes round. Unlike your dog, now your dog eats that piece of meat, it goes in his stomach, it's powerful hydrochloric acid. He's got this teeth for ripping it, goes in his stomach, powerful short stomach, becomes digested quickly. Because nature doesn't want rotten meat in people's stomach. The human beings got that meat going round and round, and that meat's going rotten, just like a piece of meat. Your stomach is not a refrigerator, it doesn't keep things fresh. And something that's going rotten is going to go rotten. A great big chunk of steak, imagine how hard that is. Imagine putting that in a bottle of acid. Imagine how strong that acid would have to be to make that disappear. And we don't have that kind of acid. And we have long, complicated stomachs that go round and round and round and round like a cow, because we're meant to eat vegetables which take a while. As they go around the stomach, the stomach at each place is extracting stuff out of it. It's, you know, the process of digestion is slow. If you put an apple, cut that apple up, eat a bit, and see that other apple, and put it on there, it doesn't, in a day's time, it might be a bit brown, it might be a bit wilted or something, but it isn't rotten. And even if it was absolutely like a rotten apple, it's still, if you ate it, it wouldn't make you as sick as if you ate a piece of rotten meat. It's a whole different thing. It's not decaying like that. So, and then you look at all the animals that eat meat. They all have very short lives. Cats, your dogs, your lions, your tigers, none of them have long lives. You look at the animals that are vegetarian, they all have long lives. The apes, the elephants, which by the way blows that whole thing. Where do I get my protein? Where's an elephant getting its protein? Where's an ape living on bananas getting its protein from? Who says we need protein? You know, somebody says, you know, up to 100 years ago, nobody knew what that was, and everybody's getting along. Maybe people are vegetarians out of necessity, and some doctor goes, I've discovered we have to have protein. Suddenly, there are all these people using this in modern day. I've got to get my protein from somewhere, whatever that is. Where am I getting my protein from? I'm still 60 and running around. I don't know. So, we don't have the teeth. We don't have the digestive system. And every time you look at a culture like Japan starts eating meat, turns away from its fish and rice diet, and I'll get back to fish, starts eating meat, it's heart disease, bowel cancer, strokes, all these things just going up completely. As the meat's going up, all of the things are going up. Just like if you were looking at smoking cigarettes and lung cancer rates, they're moving up in a kind of a... So eating meat is not good for us. That's just on a physiological level. It makes us fat, it makes us lazy and dull and lust for blood, and gives us heart attacks and cancers and causes all kinds of problems. On an environmental level, it's a complete disaster. It's a total and complete disaster. And there are rivers of cow urine running under America and Australia, And in New Zealand, the billions of sheep not farting but burping up methane. What's happening in the environment, what's happening in the Amazon, where we're taking the forest away and we're sort of cultivating it so we can have cattle there killed for McDonald's. 1-2 years it's gone, it's a wasteland. The whole idea of meat is a disaster. I learned at school that 9 pounds of corn to produce 1 pound of beef. So you could have, from this land, you could have had 9 pounds of corn growing to give people, you have 1 pound of beef. On a karmic level, it's a total catastrophe. What we're doing to these animals, what we've been doing all along, especially now. There's a difference between a man in the wilderness who's a hunter who has to survive, and there's a deer that's been running around its whole life, had a good life, and the hunter's like, I'm sorry, but I have to kill you so I can eat. That's a different thing. He kills that animal. It's just, that's just the way it is. I have no negative opinion on that. And the eating of that meat is a whole different thing to somebody sitting there who's a cow or a pig that's its whole life in misery, squalor, filth, had its children taken away from it, it's been declawed, de-eared, whatever. Whatever, they just castrate baby piglets. Just cut their dicks and balls off with a knife. Razor, cut them off. Ah! Fuck them. This animal's lived its whole life in these terrible conditions. It's full of terrible chemicals. Not only the ones that the Monsanto have injected it with and fed it with, but also the fear, the revulsion, the adrenaline, the adrenochrome, all those things that's blood, its tissues would be saturated with. It's full of it. And then on the spiritual karmic level, what we are doing, it's just like you can feel it. It's like a cloud around this world, a mist of rottenness. And if some aliens arrived and we start explaining, going, what's going on this planet? What are you doing to these other? And oh yeah, we eat them. And how can? Well, you know, they're not like us. We just blow their heads off and drag their young away and cut bits of them off. But what about the pain? And oh yeah, but you don't understand. They're animals and we're humans. You can't. It's totally. It's so wrong. It's so rotten. It's worse than slavery, or as bad as slavery. It's as bad as anything you can think of. And all of us are suffering the consequences. There is not one positive thing to be said about meat eating. It's a dirty, rotten, destructive, hideous, cruel, inhumane business. And the people who work in those places killing those animals have got the worst jobs in the world. I don't know how they keep their sanity, but they must be like, they just be so hard. They just be fucking tough. And after a while, if you can do that to animals, why can't you do it to people too? And then the opposite also applies. If you can't kill people, how can you kill animals? If you want everybody on earth to live in peace, why not let the animals live in peace and eat fucking bananas?